Hi everybody, this is Ospreyeye from MyChartCoach.com, and in this video we're going to take a look at the marine transportation sector. We're going to take a look at GBSN. It's been on a nice run since it closed above the 50-day simple moving average. So here, let's take a look at, first up is TOPS, T-O-P-S, and as you can see here, it's below 30 on RSI, so it's still at oversold levels. It's been below 30 for a very long time. Now Fasto has heated up. Now it's back in the 50 to 80 bull zone, so that's a signal it's heating up. You've got a nice uptick on plus DI, and so yesterday the stock was in play on the bounce, so you could see here there was a white candle formed yesterday. It was holding this support zone, and then there was a close above EMA's 4 and 8 resistance, the pink and green line. That's what the move that we were looking for. It hit the middle Bollinger Band intraday and pulled back. The middle Bollinger Band is currently at 53, and so today there was a gap up open above that level. Now the upper wick on yesterday's candle filled that gap, and today's close was above the middle Bollinger Band. So as long as this middle Bollinger Band, currently at about 54 cents, holds, a new uptrend could begin. Notice that it attempted to close above the middle Bollinger Band back here on the second week of October, but it failed and pulled back. And so you have to go way back here to the first trading day in August to see the last close above the middle Bollinger Band. If you look back here in July, it had closed above that level and then traded sideways and down. So what we're looking for is for a new uptrend to begin. We want to see the 54 hold and then a break above through the upper Bollinger Band, which is currently at 68. That's this purple line. And if it can bust through those levels, then the 50-day simple moving average at 96, basically 97, is going to be the next target. So that's what we're shooting for. If it can bust through 67, 97 is the target. If it fails to break this through the upper Bollinger Band, then the middle Bollinger Band at 54 will be on deck. It has to hold that level to remain in play. There was really good volume behind the move. Big volume today. Notice that there was a big, nice uptick down here in accumulation distribution. MFI is heating up. It's getting close to 80. You've got CMFI, shaken money flow, almost positive. Notice how the histogram bars for CMF have not been green since the for a very long time. You have to go off this chart. So you know, shaken money flow turning positive is a signal that money's starting to flow back into the stock. And then you've got the commodity channel index here that's pushing above 100 for the first time in months. So the chart's really heating up. It's all going to come down to turning the middle Bollinger Band into support and getting a new uptrend going. Notice that EMA 4 is bull crossing EMA 8. If you look over here, EMA 4 now is the top moving average. Okay, so yeah, let's take a look here at the TOPS 15-minute chart. And so what's going on here is I had this annotated before, but it formed a double top today, and so it closed right at the high close resistance level, which was at the 1045 close. So this candle right here, it needs to break above that, which is 67, to head higher. So above 67 signals that more upside potential. 70, which was the high today. If you can see it break above 70, then we'll be looking at that run up to the 50-day simple moving average on the daily chart. If the share price fails to break 67 or it hits 70 and pulls back, it's going to be all about holding the middle Bollinger Band on this chart, which is currently at this dotted purple line at 614. It needs to hold that. If that breaks, it could see it drop down to the lower Bollinger Band, which is all the way down here at 57 basically, which was the support level from today. If that breaks, then you've got down here the 50-day or the 50 simple moving average and 300 simple moving average that are down here around 50, 51. If you look here, there was a golden cross, the 50 simple moving average. You know, it crossed the 100 simple moving average, the 200, and then now the 300. That's a signal that the chart's really heating up and building strength. The clue was yesterday when there was a break above the 50 and 100 simple moving average at 2 o'clock on the 15-minute chart. That signal the chart was really heating up, and then it actually got above the 300 simple moving average on the second to last candle of the day, and then the last candle closed closed just below. This was all a signal that it was really heating up. Today it's been above all the moving averages, riding EMA 4 support higher. So super, super strong. This all signals more upside. You got 1226 and 9 pinched. You've got MACD starting to cross over. So the chart's heating up for a potential nether push higher. Okay, take a look at RLOG. Okay, it's got a nice uptrend going here. If you look here, it's at 59 on RSI, so it's still in the bull zone. After being at overbought levels here above 80 on Fasto, it pulled back and corrected, and now it's back above 50, so that's a signal the chart's heating back up. Notice you've got a bull cross here on 80X. Now the green line is above the black and the red line. That's exactly what bulls want to see. It signals the bulls are taking control, and this chart here, basically, it's been slowly creeping higher. It's been, turned the middle Bollinger Band into support. It turned the green line, the 50-day simple moving average, into support, and then what it's been working on now is this gold line, and basically at 32. And it's been turning that level into support while it's riding the middle Bollinger Band. The middle Bollinger Band has been holding this entire time, so the entire month of October. And so it bounced once again off that level, which is 34, and it's hitting the top of this previous ascending resistance line. And so it needs to bust above that, and then this cluster of candles here, it's basically between 40 and 42. Okay, that's the closing price on these 3 candles. If it can get above that level, above this candle on the 17th, that's going to signal it wants to head higher. 45 from back here in June is another key level to break, and then our ultimate target is going to be up here at the 200-day simple moving average at 53, basically 527. That's the target if it can get above the key 41, 42, and 45 resistance levels. As long as the middle Bollinger Band is holding, the uptrend should continue. If you see a break below 34, that would signal downside risk. Okay, take a look at DCIX. This chart is heating up. Notice that it's got the very oversold on RSI, extreme oversold levels, and then the same thing with Fasto. It's been extreme oversold levels. Well, today's the first day that Fasto closed above 50 in months, so that's a signal the chart is heating up. If you look here, this has been a really nasty downtrend. It's been riding the pink and green line lower. It's been traveling in the what we call the bearish lower Bollinger Band channel, riding EMA's 4 and 8 resistance lower, and so today the bullish development was the close above both levels for the second day in a row. Yesterday there was a close above EMA's 4 and 8. We put out alerts that was following multiple red candles in a row. Notice there is an increasing volume pattern, so check that out. As the share price found support and is starting to bounce, the volume is increasing, and so today, it did the classic pullback end of day. It formed a doji with a long upper wick. If you notice, it closed right below the key 2 resistance levels to break. The middle Bollinger Band at 48 and the EMA 13, which is this orange line at 50. A close above both levels is going to be a very bullish change in trend. I mean, there hasn't been a close above those levels in months, and so we're looking for a close above, and then those levels to turn into support. And then as you can see, the upper Bollinger Band got hit today. That's at 59. It has to bust through the upper Bollinger Band, and that'll be a signal that it wants to head higher. It's got a lot of upside potential after hitting the bottom here. It's all about dilution, whether or not they dump shares. If they can let it run, it could get moving. 70. If it gets above 70, it could get headed back up to this dollar land. Notice that's lined up with the closing price here on the 27th. So that will be a big level to break. So yeah, so keep an eye on DCIX. This chart's really setting up. It's been in the sideways channel. It looks like it wants to bust through. Notice the upper Bollinger Band's down here at 59 and the lower Bollinger Band's at 38. They've constricted to a point where a move is imminent, where you're either going to get a break above the upper Bollinger Band, which signals it wants to head higher, or if it drops below the lower Bollinger Band at 38, that's going to signal the chart's broken and more downside risk. Okay, so take a look at DRYS. Now DRYS has not sold off in a while, and it's been cruising higher. It did close down 6.5% today. That did bring RSI back below the 70 overbought zone. Now it's at 68. 68. You've got Fasto down here at 66. There was a tick down on plus DI. ADX is still hooking, curving up. It's got a nice angle. You've got minus DI still heading down. So basically, today is what we would call a pause day. A small candle formed. It was a considerable amount of volume, but EMA 4 support held, and as long as it's holding, which is currently at 440, that's the pink line, the chart is super strong. Okay, so the red flag is going to be a close below that level, and that'll signal that possible consolidation. Check out the ascending support line. Okay, it's been holding the whole time. It's lined up with the middle Bollinger Band right now, currently at 337. That's this dotted purple line. As long as that's holding, the uptrend's intact. If that level breaks, then you could see a drop down to the 50-day simple moving average at 295. Those two levels need a hold for this uptrend to continue. You will know that the chart is broken once the candles drop below the middle Bollinger Band and the 50-day simple moving average on the daily chart. As long as candles are forming above, the chart's strong with more upside potential. Nothing heads straight up. Stocks go up and down. So far, it hasn't had the big, nasty, crazy pullback like DRYS usually does. It's been holding up, and there's been really good volume, and people have been buying. I mean, this is some huge money flow right here. When you have 25 million shares traded at $5 a share, there's huge money flowing. So far, they still have the signal or the program is still bullish. We'll know when it's bearish when EMA 4 breaks, and then if support fails to hold, that would signal downside risk. Now to the upside, notice the upper wick is hitting the top of the gap. There's a gap back here in July. This is the top of the gap. This is the bottom of the gap. It's currently hitting top of gap resistance. So a break above this 550 resistance zone will signal more upside potential. Our ultimate target is up here at the 100-day simple moving average at 896. If it can get through this resistance, there's going to be, notice how this was support back here at $5.50 to $6. That will be resistance. If it can bust through, the 100-day simple moving average will be on deck. Notice, check out the 50-day simple moving average. Notice how it came down and then now it's curving up. That's a very bullish signal. The chart has really been heating up. So yeah, keep DRYS going. The signal is, if you're a swing trader, as long as EMA 4 support is holding on the daily chart, continue to ride. Okay, so check out GLBS. Okay, so this is in the bull zone on RSI. It's between 50 and 70 with room to run. You've got Fasto that just closed below 50, but it's at 46. And so this is another chart that's setting up. So notice it's been in this tight sideways channel for the last couple months. It's hitting the top of the channel. The closing price here on October 3rd is the high close resistance level to break. And notice it's lined up with the gold line, which is the 100-day simple moving average at 105. For the last 3 days in a row, it has closed above the green line, which is the 50-day simple moving average at 95. That is our clue that the chart is really building strength and heating up. It also closed above the dotted purple line, which is the middle Bollinger Band at 95 for 4 days in a row. So this is all a signal that a possible new uptrend is beginning. So currently the stop loss level is 95. Stay above 95, the signal is to hold. Drop below 95, it will be signal downside risk and a risk to hold. It has to break above 105 to head higher. If you see a break above this 100-day simple moving average and a close above, that's going to be a very, very bullish signal. It's going to have some resistance from the previous high closes, but it could really get moving. It's got a lot of juice to run on RSI and Fasto. If you look up here at the moving averages, you've got the 200-day simple moving average way up at 285. So yeah, so keep an eye on GLBS. And then finally, let's look at GBSN. This is the last chart that we posted. If you noticed before, it was RSI was in the bull zone, so so now it's at overbought levels. Fasto was above 80. It actually downticked on the upper wick that formed today. When we last posted this chart, it had just had the bull cross, and then now look how high plus DI. Plus DI is only up at 49. It was down in the 20s when we made this chart. And so, we had the target when we made the chart was the 100-day simple moving average. And notice today it hit our target. So congrats everybody that caught our video from last week. The video was on the 19th. We posted it when this 50-day simple moving average, currently at 0.075 resistance level, broke. That's the green line. There was a close above it on the 11th, and that was our clue the chart was heating up. And then on the 19th, that big move, that was the signal to take action, and it signaled more upside potential. The candles continued heading higher. There's a little pause there, but really nice push this week. And now it needs to stay above the 100-day simple moving average at 16.8. It needs to turn that level into support. Notice how it's lined up with the key support zone from back in July and beginning of August. So it's going to have to break above that, break above 20, and that'll signal it wants to head higher. I mean, this is crazy, but you got the 200-day simple moving average is way up at $19. That happens with reverse splits. So there's not another simple moving average resistance level for very, very far away above the 100-day simple moving average. So this is basically the top moving average right now on this chart. So if it could turn this into support, that's going to be really, really bullish. It had a huge spike today, and so you have to always look out for a climax spike. So it could take a pause. The candles did close well above the upper Bollinger Band. If they pull back, look for EMA 4 at 13 as the key support level to hold. As long as EMAs 4 and 8 support are holding, the uptrend is super strong. If it pulls back below that, as long as this middle Bollinger Band and 50-day simple moving average are holding between 7.5 and 8.6, the uptrend's intact. So yeah, so keep an eye on GBSN. Really great move. Congrats to everybody that's been following our charts in TA. Keep up the good work to everybody that's been learning. It takes a little bit of time, but the more you put in the effort and watch the videos, check out the charts, learn on your, study the indicators on your own, the easier it's going to get to be able to analyze these charts on your own. Okay, thank you very much. Have a great rest of your evening.